Commanding it.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey,
Good to see
everybody.
you.
Happy
We've
Friday.
happy Friday, or happy Saturday if you happen to be in the future like me.
Oh, Dave's in the future.
Yes. So, how is tomorrow, Dave?
It's awesome.
All
It's
right.
actually it's not as sunny as yesterday was, so that's a
Oh.
good thing, you know.
Well,
I'm
my blue
I
light is making me look pale and sick. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color of my light so I don't look so sickly.
so every time I see your background, Nicole, I feel like humming the Friends theme tune.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's Monica's apartment.
Isn't it? Is
Yeah.
it backwards, though? Because I was thinking that the table and stuff
Oh,
was
yeah,
on the.
is it?
Because that's why,
I don't
because I
know.
was thinking friends, but then I was like, it kind of looks different somehow.
I just work here, Carrie. I'm just a guest.
Well, I'm not that big of a friends. I mean, I liked it and watched it, but I don't know enough about it to be able to get technical.
Uh,
Hey, Susie,
what's up, Andy?
Hey,
Andy.
everyone. Manny Max in.
Susie?
Okay.
Rick?
Twinbrook Acres. Greetings, Earthlings.
Fattest cat.
Up. Whoa, JP has a picture now.
Oh, I missed that.
Keto Cheeto. Keto Cheeto.
Keto Cheeto. Ta-dang. Ah. Okay. Wow, we got quite a few. We got
What's up,
26
Cam?
people
Hey,
in.
DG.
So, guys, as you come in, whoever's channel you're watching on, you could really help us out by smashing the like button on the whatever channel you're watching from, and that is going to tell YouTube to go out and find more people to come in, and we can have a much better chat by doing that. And also, guys, we're just kind of planning to chat amongst ourselves, but we're also going to answer your questions. If you do have any questions, please stick a big Q in front of it so my eyes with the white light shining in front of me can see it. Okay. And so, Nicole, how are you doing on this Friday evening?
Oh, you got my day right because it's your Saturday. um, yeah, it's good. It's been a busy day at work. My day started when I got out of bed at 9. But no, we have tropical storm Ophelia. I was just telling Dave and Carrie backstage. We just got a warning from our cable service provider saying we might have an outage. So we're about to get some pretty nasty monsoon level storms here. So if I randomly disappear from screen, we either got struck by lightning or we lost power.
Hopefully, neither one of those things will happen.
Yeah, other than that,
Yeah.
I'm fantastic. I'm ready for a chill, relaxing weekend. It's been a busy couple weeks. How about you,
Awesome.
Dave?
I'm doing well. I'm gearing up for a big week ahead. Next week will be my first week as a non-employed person. So I'm looking forward to that and the potential excitement that could bring. So yeah. And Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad that I'm finally logged off from the day job. I like my job. I enjoy it a lot, actually, but it's just been intense. They've been wanting stuff that they wanted yesterday, but didn't tell us until today, that kind of thing. So it's been good, but now we get to kick back and relax, and I'm ready.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so just a quick shout out. Thank you to Cheryl Liss and also Gail Ivy for becoming new members. Much appreciated. And we have got now 40 people in the live. That is awesome. Guys, remember, we are happy to answer questions or talk about any random topic that you happen to find interesting, just put a Q in front of anything you want us to talk about.
I have a
And
comment.
yeah,
Hey, Running Tab,
okay.
happy to see you. Please give me a nice compliment. It's an inside joke.
Okay. Can you share the inside joke?
It
No?
was one of the last streams, it was one of the previous streams. She gave everyone a compliment except for me that
I
was
was
on
watching
the
that.
stream. So I had to beg, steal, and plead for a compliment, and she finally said that I'm essentially the best person in the world, and that kind of made up for it. But I had to beg for it for like a solid like 5 minutes. So I felt left out and I felt, hurt. I did cry a little after the stream, but we've have since made up.
Nice. Nice. So Brooke is saying she dropped another 3 pounds these past few days.
All
Oh,
right,
nice
huzzah!
work. Awesome. That's awesome, Brooke.
Few days, 3
Congratulations.
pounds in a few days, that's not I mean, what are you sick? That's a lot of weight in a few days. I mean, congratulations, but please explain.
Yeah. Please explain. Okay, so Nicole, I guess this one is for you. Where are you in monsoon?
It was it's not literally a monsoon, but, we are supposed to we are supposed to get, like, heavy, heavy rains and high winds, so it's gonna feel like a monsoon smacking our windows is what we're preparing for, but, yeah, we're in, Northern Virginia. I live about 20 miles, outside of Washington, DC.
Hmm.
But, yeah, we don't get tropical storms very often, but, yeah, we're getting one tonight and tomorrow supposedly, so it's already gotten, pitch black outside, so we're waiting.
Nice. And so I guess this is regarding your comments about running tap. Mike Shaw is saying sometimes a good cry is the answer. Cathartic.
I did cry.
And how you doing, Mike? Good to see you in. Now we have got 40 people in the live, and if you haven't already, you can help us to get a little bit higher than that just by taking the simple action of smashing the like button. And if you smash the like button in the next 10 minutes, we'll also give you a free set of steak knives. So
Dave will give
there
you
Ginsu
you
a free
go.
set of
knives.
steak knives.
Yes, Ginsu
That's
knives, and
my
you'll get an apple slicer if you act now.
Ginsu knives. I feel that reminds me of growing up and watching all those ads on TV.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I just dated myself, I guess. Everybody knows I'm old now.
Oh, man.
Okay, nice. So, whoa, what's this one?
Oh,
TJ
Pam
Riley,
did
we
the
have
same thing.
seen the grills that Sean Breaker has. One is a Schwank and the other is an Otto Wild. I'd love to get one. I'm completely lost with that. I like the grills he's cooking on, and
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
I
I
just
think so.
jumped in on someone's conversation.
Yeah, Pam
um,
at 7:07 PM Eastern Standard Time, she lives in Maryland, and, yeah,
uh,
said they're expecting the same. It's really windy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hunker down, hide
okay,
under tables.
Hmm.
okay.
It's about like Nashville when the tornadoes come around. I mean, we've turned into Tornado Alley now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we
Mm,
had some really bad ones the year that the illness that shall not be named,
Yes.
and
For whatever
it
reason, that's offensive.
yeah, it devastated the area that I live in of Nashville. Actually, it barely missed my house. It was very scary, and leveled the
mm.
church that I went to.
Oh, no.
Just leveled
Oh
it.
wow.
What's
So,
up,
Oh no.
Renee? My girl, Renee. You're not
hey,
late.
Renee.
Congratulations.
So, Brooke
Ah,
says, replied, I dropped a bunch of water weight.
gotcha.
Okay.
Nice.
And Gabrielle says, 1000th first day carnivore here. Let's see how long I can go. You can do it. You
Yep.
can do it.
You can do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not so many questions, guys. Any questions? let's go. Ask anything. If you want to ask about Japan, or you want to ask about why Nicole doesn't have any legs.
Wait.
Oh yes, show them. She's magic.
I'll be a floating head.
So Nicole, you know the really awesome thing about when you move yourself around like that?
Yeah.
It makes you look like you're in an episode of South Park.
Yes. But what was the show that had the floaty head? Do you remember?
I think I know what you're
head.
talking about. I don't.
Yes. What was it?
The floating head. Ah. All right. I'm Dr. Google. Hold on. I'm gonna.
Yes, you got to Google that.
The floating head.
Yes.
I'm lost on that one. Oh, while
Floating?
you're looking for that, we got a
The Wizard of
question here.
Oz, Hitchhiker's Guide to something.
No, that wasn't it. It was
I
like,
don't know.
I'm thinking it was like one of the cartoons or something like The Simpsons or one of those.
Brooke says, "Was it Red Dwarf?" I've never seen that. What's Red Dwarf?
No, I haven't seen that either.
That's a British sitcom that just had a few.
I don't know. Should I
seasons,
stay
think.
floating though?
That's cool. I would like to float, but I can't float.
Call you Aladdin or Jasmine or something. Just need to get you a carpet. That's what you could get for your next background. Get yourself a carpet. And then
Oh,
you
I
can
could
just
do that.
float around
Yeah.
all day.
Yes, do that.
This is what happens when Dave doesn't have anything planned. We kind of just like it goes off the deep end.
Right. We're just completely going off the rails. So Mike Shaw is asking, does everyone in Japan have robots? Well, they don't, but so one of the kind of I find it a little bit of a depressing thing about Japan is that Japan's got an aging population. And also Japan's pretty closed off to the rest of the world as far as like it's hard for people to emigrate to Japan and fit in with the culture, because like it's not just about learning the language. You have to kind of really conform literally with the culture to be able to make a go of it here. And most people don't really want to conform as much as is required. And so rather than encouraging immigration to deal with the overpopulation problem, they honestly think the answer is to have more robots here to do things. So rather than, encourage people from America or Australia or whatever to immigrate to Japan, or from Southeast Asia, it's like, let's just get more robots. And yeah, I find that a little bit kind of depressing that, people would rather be talking to robots than other humans. Oh, that's awesome. Nicole. You're pretty good on the old computer and getting things to happen quickly on the computer, Nicole. That's awesome. Nice. Are you muted? Okay, so PDX Oregon 1 is saying, hello, I'm seeking carnivore buddies in Portland, Oregon, land of vegans, Antifa, and naked cyclists. Wow. That yeah, I'm not planning that road trip to Oregon then. So wow, naked cyclist. Okay, so if anyone's in Portland, Oregon, let us know. And yeah, let's get some people maybe doing some kind of meetup in Oregon. Okay, we've got a question here. Gabrielle, my question is, if any of you had problems sleeping when going carnivore, and what did you do about it? My sleep improved. Carrie, how are you? How was that with you?
At first, well, it's not necessarily that it got bad, but it was like suddenly I was not sleeping near as much. And at first I was kind of tired because of that, but it straightened out fairly quickly. But yeah, I just remember just like I would wake up like after 4 or 5 hours, and it'd be like 3:30 in the morning. I'd be like, why am I awake so early? And then of course, by the time you're up so long all day, then you start getting tired. And so I did that for a while, but it evened out. How long, Gabrielle, have you been carnivore? Are you just starting again? Right? I think, was she the one that left the?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
she's
about
on
just
a.
starting again. Yeah, yeah. So it'll take a
I
little time.
that actually that's a good point about starting again. Like I would think maybe if you're kind of I just speaking in from my experience, if you're um when I would kind of get on the wagon, fall off the wagon, get off the wagon, fall off the wagon, often that would be in the space of a day or 2 days. And if you're doing that, if that's how your attempts are going, then your sleep's probably going to be disrupted. If you're changing your diet around a lot in a short space of time.
Hmm.
Nicole, did you want to share your? I know you're not 100% carnivore, but how's your sleep and when you first started eating this way?
Yeah, I always slept like crap, so I'm probably a bad example, but I do get deeper sleep now. I do get slightly more. Before I was like 3, 4 hours uninterrupted. Now I'm probably 5, 6, maybe 7 if I'm lucky. But I feel like I get better quality sleep. But I will say, I think I talked about this on a live with Carrie last night, with meal timing. So because you're eating a lot of meat, animal foods, it does take a long time to digest, depending on how the amount of meat that we are eating this way. It can take 8, 9 or more hours to digest all of that food. So when you're trying to sleep, your body naturally cools, right? When you're digesting food, your body naturally heats up. That's the thermic effect. So if you eat too close to bed, then it can cause conflict and cause interrupted sleep. So I would suggest messing with your meal timing. So if you're cutting your food off 3 hours before bed, maybe try cutting it off 4 hours before bed or 5 hours before bed and see if that helps. It might just be a meal timing issue because of the sheer amount of meat you're eating and your body's natural cooling system when it's trying to sleep. So that might be one of the potential causes of your crappy sleep.
Mhm.
That's a
Okay,
good
so
point.
yeah, just some updates on Oregon. Keto Voragonian
What's up,
is
Becky?
in
Right.
Eugene, Oregon, a couple of hours away. Brooke is in Oregon, less than 2 hours away. Okay, so we've got a few people.
Yeah. Y'all need
Yeah,
to organize a meetup.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, just
Apparently
having a
we
look
all
to
need to
see.
move to Oregon. Apparently that's where it's at.
No,
No?
y'all can come to Tennessee.
Okay, Chattanooga, Knoxville,
Oh.
me.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Ah,
I'm outside of Nashville.
okay. What do we got here? Any questions, guys? Dun, dun, dun.
Becky says, "Can we take Nicole seriously when she is flying on the carpet?" Apparently not. Next time I answer questions, I'll just go.
You got to move around a little bit again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Move your
Uh,
torso.
but
Oh,
now it's gonna look really funny if she
Yeah, there you
moves
go.
because the carpet doesn't
Woo!
move. Yeah.
this is what happens
AIDS,
when Dave doesn't have a plan.
right? AIDS says a
Come meet
meetup
up in
in
Oregon.
Oregon.
Okay.
Brooke says, if you're serious about coming to Oregon, I'm a real estate agent. I don't think that's a possibility for us. But if you don't have Tropical Storm Ophelia or any other tropical storm, maybe that's on our bucket list.
Uh, okay. One hope for all. I am looking for your comment right now. Just one second. Okay, here we go. I went to Nicole's live and hit the like button there, but I went to Carrie's to hit the like button, but there's no live there.
Huh.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thanks for smashing the like button. Carrie, did
Yeah,
you?
thank you.
I did. I set up the.
It says here it's live. It says here it's running. I've got it linked at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you are live. Okay.
Okay.
So
Well, maybe there was a hiccup.
yeah, it might
Yeah.
just be a okay, so response to the floating head. Was it the Fox Friday night show like SNL?
It could
Was
be. I
was
don't
it
know.
Max Head not Max Headroom?
No, but that is that. Well, I used to love that show.
Dang it. Now I'm going to have to look for that one. Max Headroom.
Yeah.
Yes, it came out in like the late 80s. And it was
Was it
this guy that was kind of like he was a computer generated persona.
Oh my
That,
goodness. He's a chiseled man.
yeah.
Yeah. So Nicole, you are so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. I get
Yes.
told that at least once a day.
She's the coolest person ever. Ever.
Ever. Ever.
Ever.
Okay. So, we've got a serious question here from Terry's Journey. Can you eat too much bacon in a day? It's all I want lately. I'm gonna go with you can never eat too much bacon. What do you think, Nicole?
I mean, it is processed. It is processed and depending on the type of bacon you're buying, I mean, it can be jacked with sodium. But yeah, I mean, if it doesn't have a negative effect on you, then go for it. But I will say bacon is processed. It is jacked with sodium. Some bacon has more sugar than others, so it's not very clean unless you go to a butcher and get fresh bacon that way. But if you're getting it at the regular grocery store, yeah, just check the nutrition label and just watch out for the sugar and the sodium.
And one hint, I'm sure that there are probably other stores that do that across the country, but like here at Kroger, you can go and get thick cut bacon at the butcher
Yeah.
in the back, and they have it's either plain or they have the peppered, and it's fantastic. That's
I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry, Carrie. JP just said my bacon is jacked. Oh man.
No. So Aid says, I just ate 7 duck eggs and 7 pieces of homemade farm bacon. Oh, nice.
That sounds good.
I've never had duck eggs.
Yeah,
I've
me
heard they're
neither.
awesome.
Me either.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day that told me, like, I was asking the difference between a chicken egg and a duck egg, and they said that duck eggs just have a much richer flavor. So I'm dying to try them.
I have a question for you guys and the chat. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I asked Dr. Tony Hampton this, and I'm not going to disclose what he said, but what do you guys think? Did the chicken come first or did the egg come first?
Interesting.
I'm going
Well,
to say
I'm
the
gonna-
chicken did because God created it.
Okay.
That's my little simplistic answer.
What do you say, Dave? I'll tell you what Dr. Tony Hampton said after Dave answers.
This is a good question.
Now,
I'm going to say
Oh,
the chicken
Sean has a
just
good
because
answer.
I've got no idea.
Really? Sean says the egg, and then he says dinosaurs. That's true. The dinosaurs hatched from eggs, right? That's
Yeah.
interesting. Dr. Tony Hampton said chickens because that's how he said that's how that's how the Earth started. And I was like, so you're saying the chicken bang? Like instead of the Big Bang Theory, like to create the Earth, it was the chicken bang.
Some
That
folks
sounds
are
like-
quite creative.
The chicken bang. That
The chicken
sounds
bang,
like a
hashtag.
that sounds
Yes.
like a really bad Saturday night. That it sounds like you're gonna have that sounds like you're gonna have a serious hangover on Sunday morning.
Ooh, yes, that goes right with the pub crawl.
Right?
Pub crawl and a chicken bang.
Richard
Yeah.
said the dinosaur came first. We're getting some interesting answers.
With the dinosaur cave, I am totally missing half of these.
Well, I guess
Okay.
technically the question doesn't say which type of egg are we asking came first.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's true.
So technically speaking, but then
mm.
there's the question which came first, the dinosaur or the egg?
And
Then,
I'm pretty sure the dinosaurs came before the chickens.
yeah.
What about chicken dinosaurs? Chicken
Chicken
saws.
Dinosaurs.
The
Chicken
chickosaurus?
saws. Chickosaurus.
The
The
Chickosaurus
chickadactyl?
pecs.
The chickadactyl.
Yeah. This is how you know there was definitely no plan. I never put a plan in place. I'm talking about
Woo!
chickosaurs. And Nicole's spinning around the screen on the carpet. Oh, we have a question.
Oh no.
Yeah, think,
Gwen-
Nicole, snap out of it. Wake up.
Gwendolyn is asking, can you get too much fat? I understand the body will naturally give signs you've had enough fat, but I can't help feeling like I get too much. My weight is mostly stable and gradually coming down. Carrie, what do you think about that one?
I would say since your weight is stable and actually you say you're losing some weight and that I think that you're probably not getting too much. I think that if you're eating just until you're full and it's not causing any other issues with you, then I don't think that you're eating too much. Now, I have heard some people say, though, that if you eat too much fat, that it can affect like your intake of protein and other stuff. And then sometimes people maybe aren't getting enough protein and that kind of thing. So, but just logically speaking, just using the old noodle here, no scientific evidence for this whatsoever, just what I've read on the interwebs. I think that as long as you're feeling good, you're making progress, you feel like you're full, and I just think that you're fine. All right, Nicole, come on. You're the nutritionist, so let's see what you've got.
Woo!
Got to be better than what I just said.
So besides if like Carrie says, if your weight is stable and you're feeling good and your goal is to lose weight and you're gradually losing weight in a healthy way and you're not losing too rapidly, for instance, more than 2 pounds a week, I usually recommend. But there is a such thing as too much of a good thing, and that means fat too. So you can have bloating, gas, diarrhea, feeling sluggish, weight gain, restless sleep, just to name a few. So digestive issues are the thing. Mostly diarrhea, and also if you have a lot of floaty poos, that's a sign of your body getting rid of excess fat too, like from food. But yeah, if you're feeling good and your weight is stable and your energy stable, your moods are stable, you're sleeping great, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But if you find that you're running to the bathroom, you have bubble guts, your sleep starts turning to crap, and you just feel super gassy and bloated, then that would be a surefire sign of maybe cutting back a little bit.
Nice. Thank you.
That was a much better answer.
There's a thin line between bubble guts and bubble gum, and it's only a few letters in the alphabet.
And don't blame it on the cat.
So where are we? Okay. She carnivore cat lover. Do you all have tips to get back on carnivore after a slip? What do you think, Nicole?
First off, I'm also a cat lover. I love cats. Um, but yeah, so it depends on how long you've been carnivore. I have a different thought process than most people when it comes to this. I don't think of it as a mess up or a slip. I think of it as life happens, and maybe there's. It depends on what you mean by slip. If you mean you ate, ice cream and pizza and like kind of like the junky foods, then I say just get back on the horse the next day. But what's the reason for you eating those foods? What is the reason for you having that slip, or like I used to say, just living life? What's the reason? Or is it emotional eating, stress eating, boredom eating? So there's usually a root cause or something more than just food going on. So I would really look at that. Maybe keep a food if that is a struggle for you. That was a struggle for me. And, the many, many clients I've worked with and just people in my life. I would just keep a food journal. And I usually recommend people do this for at least 2 weeks. And keep track of your emotions and your food and see if you can see a pattern if this is a struggle for you. Just log your food, log your emotion, and see if you can correlate specific foods for specific emotions. That's what I would recommend. But yeah, just get back on it the next day. And I just come at it from the mindset that it's not a slip, it's just life happens. Just get back on the horse. But if it's a constant thing and a constant struggle, I'm of the belief that there's something else going on that it's worth taking more of a look at than just getting back to eating meat. But that's just my take on it.
Just to follow up to that one, she carnivore cat lover is talking about social situations with friends.
Yeah, that's another sign, like an environmental thing for emotional eating, that you feel like you have to fit in and you feel like you have to eat because your friends are eating and all that stuff. So like the social pressures, but it's just something worth looking at. If you feel pressured to eat a certain way because your friends are eating that way, then that would be a good sign that maybe it's worth looking at what's going on. But yeah, social situations, like Rena Tap says, are hard for me personally. It took me years to get to food freedom and to not be tempted by those things. So for me, it's not hard, and that's why I suggest if it is a struggle for you, there might be a more underlying component going on that it's worth maybe taking a look at.
Hmm.
And
Carrie.
How about you,
you're right,
Carrie?
it can be very hard. I know initially when I went low carb, it was difficult. We would have situations like, for example, at work, they thought they were doing a nice thing by having a pizza party and they would order all these different types of pizza. Nicole and I were talking about this last night. And they would have like the pineapple and ham, and they would have a veggie one, and they would have one that maybe had like a spicy chicken, and they thought they were doing a good thing by having a variety, but the problem was it was pizza. And I struggled, and finally what I ended up doing was just simply we were in one situation, and I was just like, forget it, I'm just eating the toppings. And so I just scooped the toppings off, and they were looking at me like I was a bad little kid, like, the kid that was taking the crust off of their peanut butter jelly sandwich, like, well, what, little brat. But I didn't care, because it was like, I'm just not going to eat that. And so now everybody knows now that I eat meat only for the most part. And I definitely don't eat sweets and stuff. But it's hard initially, and like all my friends know now, and I guess too, I'm to the point, I'm 57 years old. I'm just kind of to the point now where I just don't care what other people think about me. But it took me. I used to be extremely self-conscious, and maybe the diet has partially fixed that, because when I would be in a social situation, I would think, well, are they staring at me? Did what I said, was that stupid? Did it sound stupid? I wanted to be around people, but I would analyze the whole time I was there. how I was coming across to others, and it was very well. Obviously, it took away from the fun, and so now it's just like, if you want to be around me, this is how I am, and guess what? They all still want to be around me. So I must be either lovable or they just don't have any other friends. I don't know.
How dare you eat only meat?
Yeah. I when I first started, I knew this was going to be tough. Like, I knew the social situations were going to be tough, because it was always, every time I tried to go on keto in the past, it was always, I'd do all right for a few days, and then someone would invite me to a house party or something, and I'd be like, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be strong. And I'd get there and I'd see someone drinking a beer or eating some ice cream or whatever it was, and I'd just give in. I'd go, okay, well, I'll start again tomorrow. And it's really difficult. So for me, for the first 2 or 3 months, I just said to friends, I'm not coming to the party. I can't do this. I've got things to do. I'm sorry. And that worked for me, just avoiding the situations at first. And I mean, I find that once you're a month, 2 months, 3 months in, then you've got enough self-control that then you can be in that situation and you'll do okay. But there's that little kind of hump you've got to get over first, is what it was for me. Okay, we've got some important questions here. Questions that demand to be answered.
Oh, no.
And this question is, have any of you tried Michaela Peterson's crunchy things? And
That's
to that,
disgusting. What do you
I
mean?
would say,
why am I
isn't
even-
that a personal question?
That's
Yeah.
a very personal question.
My
I don't
husband's
know.
in the other room. I can't be talking about this stuff.
So I've got no idea what the crunchy things are.
I don't
Does anyone know?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
she
sounds
doesn't
gross
try-
though. It sounds like really, yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I see her interviewed or something, I never look at her and go, I think she looks like the kind of person with crunchy things. But
it's too close to crusty, It's just like,
yeah,
ugh.
yeah.
Oh, no.
So I'm guessing it's something like some kind of pork rinds things.
Pressure
I don't
cooked
know.
meat chopped up and fried in tallow in bottom of air fryer till crunchy. Oh,
Now
that
that sounds
sounds
good.
that's gross.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I've never tried that.
But never tried it. No.
I'd like
No.
to.
Yeah.
So yeah, crunchy things are full of fat trimmings, air fried to a crisp. I see. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to try it then, but
Yeah.
I haven't. Okay. So how much fat do you all consume in a day? I have no idea for myself.
don't either.
Nicole, how much fat do you consume?
I don't track. I just mainly stick to triple B and E because that's easy. So tonight I had Italian sausage, ground beef, eggs, and a couple little strip steaks, and I cooked the steaks in ghee to up the fat. So yeah, so I'm primarily OMAD, but yeah, I try to focus on fat first and then protein.
Yeah,
Carrie,
I
how
just
about
eat
you?
whatever fat comes on the meat. And I do buy, for example, my ground beef is like this, what is it, 70/30. So it's 30% fat. And then I add butter to it. And I add butter to a lot of things and bacon grease. Like if I
Wait,
cook
you have 70/30 ground beef? I can barely last time I went food shopping, I couldn't even find 80/20. I
you
only
know
had
where I get it? I get it. Okay, this is going to tell you how lazy I am, but here we go. When I go to Kroger's, they have this box of burgers they're pre-patted, but they're the highest fat content. And I think, what is it that comes in there? Like, oh, it's ridiculous. It's like 36 burgers in this box.
Damn.
It's a grilling box. And so what I'll do is I'll buy a box of those and I'll cook a bunch of them up on either Saturday morning or Sunday. And I have my meat cookies then already prepared. And then that way, because I know if especially lately, work has been just pretty intense, and I don't feel like really cooking anything. And I know cooking a burger is easy, but it's much easier for me to just shove one or, some meat cookies in the microwave along with some of my pre-cooked bacon.
Are they just hamburger patties that you call meat cookies?
Yes, they are.
I was so confused. Like, I want a cookie.
Yes, that's what they are. They are just burger patties, and they're pre-patted, and I just bake them in a bake a. I swear I cook like 36 of them at a time, and just
Damn.
have them in the refrigerator, and then I just pull out what I want. If I don't feel like cooking anything, now sometimes I do fix something, but it's not. So
I'm just
I'm sorry, I'm
imagining
not a
now.
cook.
I'm just imagining them now. Meat cookies, or you could call them like beef tarts or something like that. You put them in
Beef
the
Yes.
toaster, and
tarts.
yeah, awesome. Um, for me, I don't do any measuring either. I think one of the great things about this diet for me is that I don't have to think about macros at all. I don't have to think about how much protein, how much fat, how much this, how much that. All I need to remember is cut out the carbs, and that's it. Um, so, hey Matthew, how could you tease Nicole like that? I want a cookie. Yeah, beef
I'm an
pop
easy target.
tarts,
Beef pop
All
tart.
right, beef tarts. Yes.
beef tarts. Um, okay. One thing that I'm not fond of is the fattier dishes to wash up.
Yeah.
Anyone
Yes.
feel the same about this? Yeah.
It gets all caked. I usually soak my pans after I finish cooking, but last night, I too, like Harry, am lazy, so I left it overnight, and this morning I was like, "Yeah, I need to wipe that down." Yeah, it does get, like, the fat
Mhm.
rendering gets all caked on there.
It sure
Mm,
does.
Blech.
That's one
yeah.
reason why I bake mine. And what I do is
Yep,
I put aluminum foil on
I
my
do that
broiler,
too.
and then I just cook them all in their fatty glory. And I mean, even if like once I take them out, I mean, if there's fat just dripping on it, I don't care. I just, put them on the plate like that.
Yep, and you can
And
just throw
then,
the foil away and not have to worry about
mhm,
it.
yep.
Mm,
But Brooke is
yeah.
still trying to get people to move to Oregon. She said, "Oregon? Oregon. Oregon? Oregon. Oregon." We get 73-27 ratio hamburger here. Jeez. I barely am able to find 80-20. They have 2 packages of 80-20 left in the store when I went. So yeah, it's even a struggle to find 80-20 here now.
Mm. Why do you think it's getting difficult? Like, what's the regular now? If you can't find 80/20, what
93.
have you getting? No, wow.
93, it's lean, yeah.
Very
So
lean.
last time I had to buy the 93 because I could not find 80-20, but luckily last week I found 80-20, but yeah, it's hard. It's been hard.
Yeah. So in Japan, we don't have that issue because there's like just, what's on the shelf, or or you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
So but when I was in Australia, um, the cool thing about this going to the supermarket in Australia for me after living in Japan for so many years was they've got like all this ground beef, and it ranges from like 10% fat and whatever, and like I can't remember what the highest percentage of fat was, right? But no one was buying it. It's all on like the
Mhm.
bottom shelf,
Yeah.
and you go there at the end of the day when they're reducing the prices, and that's all that's left. And it's like, this is awesome. This is like my
Right.
shopping paradise,
Dave walks in, it's like, "Oh," or he walks in and it's like, "Oh."
The
Yeah.
clouds
So
part.
it was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to my trip there again in a couple of weeks. So what do we got here? Keto Cheetah, is it, sorry, JP is Keto Cheetah's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. JP says 10-pound roll, 73.27,
Wow.
$3.37 per pound.
Another thing too is a lot of people, and it depends on what you're using the hamburger meat for, because a lot of people think that they cook down too small because they are a higher percentage of fat. Now, for me, I love the fact that there's so much fat.
Mm,
But like a friend of mine had gotten some of those patties and complained that they cooked, and I suggested that perhaps they cooked them too long. I think
mm,
that also may be because they just cooked the burger patties. They weren't making like tacos or anything with the meat. But I do know that some people, that's one reason why they don't get the fattier meat, is because
uh-huh,
they're, it cooks so much of it away.
mm. So Baddest Caddis says, I try to use up all the rendered fat from cooking. I'll put it back into my ground beef bowls, cook eggs or lean steaks in it. I towel off all my dishes before washing though. Okay. Yeah. So do you remember I mean maybe I'm showing my age here, but
You're only a few years older than me.
okay.
I think
So
I'm the oldest
maybe
person
I'm showing
here.
Nicole's age. So
I'm 40. Keto Palooza is my birthday weekend. I'll be 43.
Huzzah!
oh, um, so when I was a kid, I remember like my mum always saying to me, "Don't pour the fat down the sink. Don't
Oh,
put the fat in the sink because it was just going to solidify and block the sink, right?"
yeah.
And then at some point as I was growing up, that kind of stopped being a thing as we started using seed oils. Right. I don't know if it was through the
Mm,
90s or something, but I remember in the 80s, it was like, don't
yeah,
put that in the sink. Whatever you do, don't put that in the
Yeah, there
sink.
was a
that's true.
special
And
way to discard the fat, to throw it
yeah.
out.
Hmm.
And then that just stopped. But it was one of these things that you didn't really notice. And yeah, so now like young people today, right, would not be able to understand the concept of like fat kind of, I don't know, congealing or fat kind of solidifying, because they've only really ever been used to the seed oils.
That's
Yeah, it's
true.
just
The
a
only
weird
thing they
thing,
know is that saturated fat clogs your arteries.
Oh,
right? I mean, I think, and literally, I think that's such an easy concept for people to sell, that
Hmm.
saturated fat clogs your arteries, because they see what happens when you pour it down the sink or you pour it somewhere or it sits on your plate. It solidifies and goes hard. So, people are, they're not right, but people are naturally putting this connection in, going, hang on,
Hmm.
it gets hard. And like if it's in the sink, it blocks the sink. So imagine what that's doing to my arteries when it goes in, as if like when you eat a sausage, that's also
Hmm.
going to get stuck in your arteries.
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Wasn't there a commercial about comparing your? I just seem to remember where they were pouring like fatty sludge down in a sink, and then it just like clogged it up. But I don't really
Hmm.
remember the context of that. But I have the imagery in my mind. So like an old
Mm.
commercial. I don't know what it would have been for. Maybe it
Mm.
Drano?
was for some kind of maybe it was for clearing clogs or something. It could have been for
Yeah,
Drano
Drano.
or something. Yeah. That somebody was like
Mm.
pouring, you know, like just grease down the sink and it clogged it up.
Mm.
I bet that's what it was. It's probably
Yeah.
Drano.
So running tap, sinks do not use fat like a body.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean we know that, but like most of the people that are just kind of hearing that message or that soundbite or something about saturated fat clogs your arteries, and just they're gonna make a connection and go, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's right."
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, so does anyone know how? Okay. Meet to fan. Does anyone know how to find info on the history of the cholesterol guidelines? I know they have reduced the upper limit over the years because they have drugs to lower it, but I can't find it.
Someone in the chat answered that. Nina Teicholz um, is one person to look at. She is an investigative reporter, and she did a deep dive on all of that stuff. I believe LDL is one of them, quite possibly, but she would be a good one to look at as well. I know someone said Sean Baker, but yeah, she might be a good one to take a look at.
I think the question might be, like, is there a record of what they used to consider high cholesterol before all of the guidelines, because they've just gradually lowered it and lowered it.
Yeah.
Now, Nina Teicholz, and I also believe Gary Taubes had in his book too, talking about there was a meeting and they were trying to determine what the maximum level of LDL cholesterol would be before they recommended somebody to be on a statin. And because they had done these studies or something and determined that more people would be on the medication if they did it at this level. And there was actually somebody that was interviewed who had overheard these conversations or was actually like in the room when this was going on, when they were determining what the level would be. And that may be what they're talking about, but I haven't seen, outside of those books, I really haven't seen anything. But one thing, and it's not in that book that I've got called The Body. It's a book that came out in 1968, and it's just fascinating. I love old history books and textbooks. And I bought it just to see what they said about the human body and stuff. And I was hoping there was something like that in there that I could look at. And it did talk about, the only thing it really talked about was the fact that it was not decided whether sugar or saturated fat caused heart disease, which I found fascinating. And they actually talk about Dr. Unwin in this book. I mean, not Dr. Look, crap. Yudkin, thank you. I had a brain fart. Anywho, we can talk about poo anytime you want now.
Yeah, my mom's old nursing books has the old cholesterol guidelines.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean she's in her 60s. My parents are young bucks, but yeah, she's in her 60s, so she's been a nurse for like 30 years or whatever. So yeah, she has all of her old books, and yeah, it has, because they're taught all that stuff in nursing school, right? And yeah, she has all the old numbers in there.
So what did it used to be? What was the LDL?
Oh, I'm not a nurse. I'm not saying I read her books. I'm just saying we talked about it, so I can.
Well, you should know this.
I can easily just ask her, because she does have the old numbers. And as a nurse, you have to know these things in practice too. So while she was practicing, she would base her and the doctor off of those current numbers. So when they increase or decrease, then obviously they have to change their way they work with patients. So yeah, I can easily ask her because she has all that old stuff. But I think at AID, has a good response to this at 7:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, serum cholesterol has only been in the guidelines since the 1960s and ramped up in the late 70s and finally was placed into law in 1980. Yeah. So Nina Teicholz did the whole deep dive on the guidelines specifically, which would include LDL cholesterol and other numbers, because other numbers have moved as well, not just cholesterol, but like blood pressure has changed. Yeah. So yeah, Nina Teicholz is a beast when it comes to the history of the guidelines.
Yeah. So some people also said Dave Feldman in the chat. So I would say, Carrie, you mentioned Gary Taub. And also Paul Mason is really good. Yeah. Look for Paul Mason on YouTube.
And Bickman too, right? Did he?
Yes, Ben Bickman.
Oh yeah, Ben Bickman. Yeah. So they're all well worth, because they go back and actually talk about the past and things that have happened, which is great. It's so interesting when you see what has happened with stuff like the guidelines and with statins and
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Shaw's saying here, just watched a Paul Mason video. Heart disease causes by blood clots. Low HDL contributes to that along with high triglycerides.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of LDL, Carrie, we were talking about LDL just before we came on.
Yes, yes. My LDL last year was 220. That's LDL by itself. And I just went, it was a week ago this past Wednesday, to have my annual physical, and my LDL is 270. So I know, right? I'm a lean mass responder. I mean, I figured I was anyway, but my LDL stayed usually somewhere around 190 to 220 when I was like low carb / keto before I went carnivore. And so I was curious as to what would happen with my LDL, and it skyrocketed. So, but my triglycerides are low. They are, oh gosh, let's see, what are my triglycerides? They are 89 and my HDL is 78.
Are you nervous about your LDL numbers? And is your doctor nervous about your LDL numbers?
Well, here's the funny thing. I had also, along with my routine lab work, I had asked for my C-peptide, and I had also asked, my fasting insulin and vitamin D level. And I did not get a C-peptide. I was going to do it, but then basically if you get your fasting insulin, it tells you what you need to know if you're not already taking insulin. So I opted not to do the C-peptide. Anyway, so I got a call like a couple days later. I believe it was a week ago today. I got a call, and they were telling me, the nurse was telling me that she was calling to give me my results about my insulin, and that it was 3.8, which I was like, yes. Good night, One Hope. And so I was like, okay, that's great. And she said, and so that was it. And I was like, oh, well, they're not going to nag me about my LDL, because I knew what it was, because I went online and checked. It was all in the ECR. So I already knew all my results. But of course, they have to call you and tell you. Well, fast forward, I got a call earlier this week from the doctor's office saying, hi, I'm here. I'm calling you about your labs. And I said, oh, okay. Played dumb. And she says, yes, your LDL is really high. And Dr. Blah, blah wants you on a statin. And I said, I'm not taking a statin. And she just says, well, okay, I'll note that, because I've been telling them that for the last, since 2015, that I'm not going to take a statin. And they don't nag me, but they mention it every year. A part of me is nervous about it. But at the same time, I think since my fasting insulin is low, it's at the optimal level. I mean, you obviously don't want it to be zero. However, according to the Common Sense Labs book that Dr. Berry and Kim Howerton had done, anything below 5 is optimal. So, yeah, I'm happy about that, because that's just my number one thing. I don't want to be a diabetic, and diabetes is like the number one precursor to heart disease. And that's what killed my mother. So I feel good about it. But at the same time, it's been beaten into our heads, kind of like women when we're told not, especially women, everybody was told not to eat saturated fat. But I mean, especially women when they were dieting, I mean, you had to cut out every bit of fat. And so it's that same concept with the LDL. It's just been beaten into your head that, a higher LDL is bad. So a part of me is a little nervous about it, and I'm going to do some more reading on like Dave Feldman's site and just delve into some more of that research. I have done a cursory look at it. I haven't really taken a deep dive, so I'm going to get more into that and just see exactly what it says. But so, yeah, I have to admit, it does make me a little nervous.
But Carrie, I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So your LDL is the highest it's ever been right now.
Yes.
But would you say this is the best you've ever felt?
Yes.
In your life right now?
Yes.
Mm. So that's a good sign, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
if for me, usually when there are markers that are markers of potential doom and destruction in your lab work or somewhere, usually you're not feeling the best, right?
Right.
And
That's true.
yeah, so I look at it like that. Um, can I, as you're talking about LDL, do you mind me sharing my latest numbers?
Go for it. Yes. What are yours?
So, in October of 2022, my LDL was 382. And when I got my labs done, I'm guessing, I can't remember the exact time, but it was maybe June this year. It
Hmm.
was 369.
Oh,
And
okay. Well, you got
I'm
me
also
beat.
in a situation where the best I've ever felt in my life.
Mhm.
I can't remember ever feeling better. So, if I have to go out, like if LDL is going to take me out, then so be it. I've never, I,
Great.
I'd rather go out feeling this way than limping towards the finish line.
I haven't gotten lab work. I really want to, but I'm kind of nervous because both my parents have high cholesterol. My dad's had high cholesterol since, I'm sorry, blood pressure and cholesterol, but he's had high blood pressure. I mean, since he was a kid, like, I mean, a teenager, and he was skinny as heck. Now he's obese and type 2 diabetes and all that, but he's had it since he was a kid. He's always had high blood pressure. And I know my blood pressure has been borderline, like, when I was in and out of the military. So, I don't know, I'm kind of scared to get my lab work done because I know I'm, like, concerned that they're gonna say, "You have high blood pressure," and try to put me on meds because I'm afraid for me, it might just be a genetic thing. But I'm not sure. I'm not ready to deal with that yet, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
avoiding it for now until I'm ready to deal with it because, that would mean going on meds, and I'm so anti-meds. But yeah, for me, it might just be an unfortunate luck of the draw.
Mm,
Yeah. And that's another thing. I always had white coat syndrome. And I had it so bad that they sent me home. And this was a few years ago with the blood pressure monitor that I wore all the time. And it monitored my blood pressure for several days. And then I had to take it back and they got the readings off of it and I was fine. So they determined that it was white coat syndrome. And normally, when I would go into the doctor's office, they would have to take my blood pressure 2 or 3 times before there was a reading that was like acceptable. And this time, they took it one time and it was 126/80, which is like the best that it's ever been at the doctor's office first try. So that was pretty incredible. I was happy.
mm. So this is a comment that I just missed from before that I want to touch on, if that's okay.
Sure.
Semi-retired Bob is just talking about. I would read the study Dr. Baker has been talking about. Centurions tend to have higher total cholesterol and low blood glucose, and I
Mm.
would say this important point. Like I think Dave Feldman and Dr. Berry did a video as well where they were talking about this quite a few months ago, and like there are studies that basically say like longevity when you're older is associated with higher LDL.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
so
familial cholesterol. I think it's called
mm,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. And sorry, just to also mention something that's kind of strange. So in Japan, you have to have your blood work and a physical like once a year for the way the health insurance system works here. And I have had what would be classed as perfect cholesterol for the whole time I've been doing. Um, I've been living in Japan. I've been doing these blood tests, and it's only gone into the crazy range since I've been eating carnivore. And the thing was, the only time I was offered a statin was when I did my physical a few years ago before I started carnivore, when the cholesterol was normal, or normal as far as they were concerned.
Hmm.
Like they were still trying to get me on a statin. So it just feels like it's just a process of selling. It's just a process of money generation. It's nothing else.
Aren't the numbers different in Japan than they are here in the US too, though?
I
I
think
thought
that's yeah, they are slightly different, but like we get a mark, like a score. Right now, my overall score for my blood work is D because of my LDL. Like my LDL is scored as a D, but back then it was scored as an A. But they were still like, you're going on a statin. You really should be taking one.
Wow.
And the doctor was trying to convince me, like by saying, I'm on one as well, and it's
It's like
been
good
pretty
for
good.
you.
I'm fat. I'm
It's
fat. Look at me. So you too can be
yeah.
fat. What kind of reasoning is that?
God.
Yeah. Yeah. I would push back more if I had the Japanese skills to do it, but I just kind of shake my head and go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll think about it. But yeah. Yeah. So do we have any more questions?
There were
I
a
don't
couple. Well,
think
you got a
no.
super
Oh,
chat.
okay. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Steve. Hello from South Carolina. My wife and I started carnivore 8 weeks ago today. She has lost 24 pounds and I'm down 50 pounds. That's awesome. Thank you
Wow.
so much for this Friday teaching encouragement. That is awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, that is really good. And I'm sure if it hasn't already started already, you're going to be feeling a lot more benefits than just the weight loss too. So
Hmm.
that eventually, with time, you're going to start to look at the weight loss as just the cherry on top,
Yeah.
because the other things will be much bigger life improvement things.
Above
Yeah. If
that.
Um,
you have anxiety, it'll just go away.
mm,
Well, it
Yeah.
did for me. I can't swear that it will for you, but I had anxiety all my life since I was 20 to varying degrees throughout my whole life, and it's gone now. And I never would
mm,
have dreamed of doing a live stream or starting a YouTube channel or any of this stuff before a year ago. If you had told me that this is what I would be doing, I would call you crazy. So take it for what you will, but
mm,
it's been wonderful for me. That's I don't know if I'll ever add any other foods in or not. I might and I might not. But right now I'm happy. I mean, the way it
mm,
is now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as we say down here.
mm,
Yeah, there's one above that one from Susan about doing my own labs. You don't have to get the result. Yeah, I am partnered with someone local who actually it's called Anytime Labs who actually does labs. So I might hit him up and see if I can order my own labs from him. They're local, so they
mm,
have a pretty quick turnaround. But yeah, that's a fair point. I might do that, and maybe I'll share them on YouTube and do a lab results. But yeah, I
mm.
don't know.
Okay. Uh, the baddest cat says the current paradigm normalizes the conditions SAD gave us. I'm on such and such drug too. So can you. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So can you. I'm taking this fantastic drug. So can you.
I've gained
Uh,
50 pounds. So can you.
Susan, I visited a friend in hospital today. He's type 2 diabetic with major complications. The kitchen sent up his ridiculous, terrible, unappetizing dinner of a little cup of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's terrible. That is like that makes me sad. My grandmother passed away in a nursing home, type 1 diabetic, legs amputated, all that stuff. She died at 72.
Mm,
And again, type 1 diabetic, legs amputated, and they were still feeding her all that carby garbage. It's terrible. They don't care. It's just by law
yeah.
they have to follow the guidelines, and the guidelines is a high carb diet, so they don't care. It's sad. It's really sad.
Hmm. So just a continuation of that, macaroni and cheese, a whole wheat bun and a brownie.
Yeah.
Total carbs 148 grams.
That's low.
Mm.
148 grams of carbs is low on the standard
In a
American diet.
hospital.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Yeah.
terrible. But that's the kind of thing that happened, like with my mother. She was just under the impression that she could eat whatever she wanted to as long as she took enough insulin to cover it. And it just, she kept gaining weight and having to take more and more insulin. I mean, she was very slim when, I was like up until my, like, I don't know, like in my 30s. And then she developed type 2 diabetes when she was in her 60s, early 60s. But as it progressed, I could just see the change in her, and her quality of life went down. I mean, she used to be, or she had been, an energetic person, very personable, liked to socialize. She liked to also go to shows. It was country music shows and not rock, but same difference. We had a lot of similarities in that way of loving music and getting out. She got to the point where she couldn't do that anymore. And it was just, but she believed that, you eat this and then you take the insulin to cover it and you're
That's a
fine.
bad approach. And I
Yep.
actually talked to my mom about this, and she said that all the new doctors coming up, because again, my mom's a nurse, all the doctors, all the new residents coming up, they're taught the insulin thing, they're taught the low carb, but the approach of calculate your carbs and then guesstimate your insulin, I was like, you're not supposed to be on insulin the rest of your life. The point is it's supposed to be there to supplement temporary, control your diet, and then get off of it. But people, they don't change their lifestyle. They just continue eating because it's my dad. You just continue eating the way you eat and think that insulin's gonna save the day. And that's how people are, because that's what doctors are telling people to do, and that's how that's what they're being told, and that's not the right approach at all. That's not the right approach.
Well, I know when I was expecting my daughter back in 1984, this is really dating me, right?
You already told us your age.
When I found, I know, but every time I open my mouth, I sound like my mother. It's like back in the day. Anyway,
as Carrie goes,
a lot of times, every time I open
cracks.
my mouth, my mother's voice comes out. It's just really weird. But I found out I had gestational diabetes, and you know what they told me to do? They had a booklet, and they said, don't eat sugar. They said, don't eat white foods. Don't eat sugar. Don't eat potatoes. Don't eat bread. This is what they told me. And I was very thin very slender at the time, and they were wanting me to gain weight. And I just remember sitting there when they were explaining this stuff to me, thinking to myself, well, how am I supposed to gain weight? I can't eat anything that's going to make me gain any weight. But that's what they told me when I had gestational diabetes with my daughter. And now you fast forward and look at how they handle it. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad. It really does. My mother shouldn't have. I mean, I know she put the food in her mouth herself and she knew better. But at the same time, she was told that, you can eat what you want as long as you keep your blood sugar down. You take that insulin and it'll keep your blood sugar down. Their concern was the glucose level in her blood, and it wasn't all the other stuff that the insulin was doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get fired up about it.
No, it's. I mean, we should be fired up about it. It's ridiculous that this is what we've been sold, And the thing is, if the doctor comes in to consult with, just going back to Susan's friend in hospital, the doctor comes in to consult with this person as they're eating their dinner or whatever, they're 148 grams of carbohydrate, and they say, oh, doc, what can I do to control this type 2 diabetes? And the doctor would probably just say, oh, eat less and move more, or I'll give you some drugs, or like just some advice that means nothing, that is either going to just make the person confused and do the wrong thing, or make the doctor some money. It's very sad. And when you think about, Mike's got a good point here. where is it? All the drugs do is treat the symptoms as you get sicker.
Hmm.
So, like, I live in Japan, right, which is a country where there's lots of earthquakes, and you'll be walking past a lot of buildings, and you'll see the cracks in the buildings that over the years with the swaying and the movement, the cracks in the concrete, you'll see the lines down there, and the way that um they treat issues like metabolic conditions these days is really like putting wallpaper on earthquake cracks. So it's like there was an earthquake and the wall's broken. It's like, oh, let's just put wallpaper on it, and then we can't see the crack, and then it's not there anymore. It's like, let's just cover it up. Let's just paper over the crack, and then all's good. We don't have to think about it anymore.
Yep.
And
And
it's
you
not
know what
actually
they
solving the problem. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, I'm
I,
done.
God, I was just going to say though that when you have your head in the sand, your butt's sticking out. So there you go. I mean, in other words, your butt's exposed. It's just you can't do that. In other words, you're denying. And when I say you, I just mean the people, the public, everybody in general. They're just ignoring what the real problem is, and so
Mm,
their butt's exposed, and you're not solving any problems.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, the chat's going a bit quicker now. Where have I missed anything? But if I, hang on. Oh no, that's Susan's. That's the second part of Susan's question. Um, I don't think I've missed anything. No, I think I've got them all. Um, oh no, okay. So, yeah. So this coming weekend, what have you got on, Nicole?
I'm gonna be doing a solo live on Sunday, quite possibly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just gonna be might go out to eat tomorrow with Hubs, but other than that, I try to chill on the weekends because the last 2 weeks have been super stressful trying to launch my new program. So I'm in chill mode.
Nice. And the new program, is that like a face-to-face program?
Oh, no. So, right now I do, one-on-one coaching, and that's not really scalable and all that, and I kinda don't wanna do that anymore. So I'm shifting more towards programming. So it's called 12 Weeks to Food Freedom. It's going to be a, self-guided course with, twice a week, group coaching with me, of course, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's gonna be an actual, program. So that's gonna replace, my current programs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Can you let us know when that one goes live?
Oh yeah, for sure. I just recorded the webinar for my landing page to like a marketing webinar. So I just recorded that and edited that up this afternoon. So that's going to be launched hopefully on Monday. I'll start marketing and promoting it. But yeah, I'll have that on my links on the YouTubes.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
excited. It's gonna get to the root cause because right now I'm
Hmm.
like like weight loss is a commodity, right? Like curing diabetes is or reversing diabetes is a commodity. So I want to get to what I struggled with, emotional eating, and really make an impact. That's not a
Mm,
commodity.
I
mm,
love that approach. I know we talked about that last night, and I
Yeah.
just think that it's a unique way to look at the situation. And because there again, you're not so many of the approaches now, you're not really solving a problem, and you're white knuckling it through. But when you find your why, and when you start digging down deep, then it really solves the issue. So I really like that approach.
Yeah,
Not
I
that my
appreciate it.
endorsement means
Yeah.
anything. I'm just
No,
really impressed with
it
it.
is one of my specialties. So I am certified in emotional eating psychology, and I started with emotional eating in my business. I just was new and I didn't know what I was doing in the business world, and I just wasn't marketing and packaging it right and all that. So yeah, I've come a long way. So yeah, I'm just kind of like repackaging it and all that stuff to make it more sustainable, more scalable, and to actually work with the root cause and not just help people lose weight, because that's pretty much what I'm doing now. And it's not really, it's not as meaningful as it could be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Dave, what
looking
about you?
forward
This is
to
your
it.
last weekend. This is your final weekend.
Yeah, my final weekend. So today I'll just be kind of gonna make a few videos, I think, and then go out for dinner with the family. Today's my wife's birthday, so
Oh.
yeah, we'll be having a little birthday party tonight. And then tomorrow, my final day of work, and yeah, saying goodbye to all the kids and stuff. So yeah,
Aw.
that'll be sad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to exciting times ahead.
So I do
Yeah.
have, before we get to Carrie, I do have a suggestion for you. Have you ever not worked full time like for someone before?
No.
Okay. Okay. So here's the best advice I can give you, because I was like a fish out of water when I quit my job last year. Come up with a schedule and a routine and a to-do list every single day, because I'm telling you, you're not going to know what the heck to do with all this free time that you're going to
Mm.
have. So I recommend come Monday or whenever you plan to start, to take the time and come up with an actual like schedule and a routine and a to-do list, because I did not do that. And I had no idea what to do with myself.
I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
really. Hey, Alia,
Hey,
that's
Ollie.
that's really good advice, because especially for someone like me, because I'm really bad with procrastination.
Me
I
too.
can get a lot of stuff done, but I can also fall the other way very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's thank you for the advice. And I think what I'll be doing is sitting down on Sunday night and making the plan then.
Yeah.
Because then if I wake up with a plan already on Monday morning, then I'm good to go. If I wake up on Monday morning and I need to make the plan as the first thing, it's all going to go a bit pear-shaped, I think.
Yeah, I just definitely make
Yeah.
a plan, because I did not make a plan. I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I quit my job." And then I'm like a business owner. I was like, "Now what?"
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
great
nice.
advice.
Yeah. And so, Curry, what are you doing this weekend?
Tomorrow I'm going hiking with a friend of
Oh,
mine,
nice.
the same friend I went to the Highland Games with. So we're
Nice.
going to go on a hike, and then I'm probably going to go hang out with my daughter on Sunday. And then Monday night, I'm going to have Meat and Metal Monday on my channel. So anybody wants to join us, of course, we can talk about, carnivore. We can talk about music or just whatever you want to, really. We just want to relax and have a nice atmosphere where we can just talk about if we had any challenges.
A nice atmosphere,
Yes.
but that's not metal.
No, it's not, but it is a nice atmosphere though. I can just picture like a cigar bar or something, or those long cigarettes in the
That's not
bundles.
carnivore,
That is definitely not carnivore.
unless it's a meat cigarette, a meaterette.
You
Meteorite.
took the words right out of my mouth. So yeah, so join me on Monday. Also, Mike Shaw TV is going to be co-hosting with me Monday night. So it's going to be a good time. We
Nice.
always have fun in there, joking. I mean, never a dull moment with him. So yeah, come join us. And I recently opened an Instagram account, by the way. So there's not a whole lot posted out there, but I'm working on getting more involved. I've been intending to engage a little more on Instagram, and
Hey.
so I'm
Nice.
working on it.
And
I
Wow.
forget
said,
I forget though, to be honest. I just do. I forget because I don't generally do social media. I mean, YouTube is like, I haven't done Facebook in over 3 years. And I've never had an Instagram account until like a week ago.
Congratulations. Welcome to
Yeah.
the dumpster fire.
So it's just like, I don't know.
Well, Ad said, what is your favorite Kiss song?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would have to say, I'm going to go back to like the really, really old stuff that's on Kiss Alive. I love Black Diamond, and I like Watching You. Those are two that come to mind. They're just, especially the way that they're performed on that album, on the Kiss Alive 1 album. What's yours,
Nice.
Aid?
Yeah, what's
Aid?
yours, Ed? And what's Ali say? I almost bought an ACDC t-shirt because of Carrie. I should have.
Yes,
You should buy a
you should
shirt
have.
from Carrie.
Yeah, you can go buy one of my shirts.
That was your road to promote.
That was my chance. That was my chance. Yeah, I've got a Spreadshirt shop, but I mean, you can't. I am not monetized, so you can't link to it. But I finally I wanted to design T-shirts and band logos and album covers. I was into art so much. I was made for loving you. My grandson loves that song.
You can design me a book cover, Carrie. Do you freelance for free?
I can mess around and see what I can come up with. You never know. It might have a little bit of a metal flavor.
See a Thunderbolt, emotional eating journal, Thunderbolt.
Yes. Strike that hunger, I don't know, strike that urge. Yeah, we come up with something. So anyway, if you happen to see, go to my channel and watching any of the recent lives or anything, there's a link that you can copy and paste into your browser if you're interested in looking at the shirts. But I was excited to just design. I ordered one of my own shirts so that I could wear it.
Carrie, you should get a link tree. It's free. And you can put all your links, your IG link, your shirt link. You can put all your links. And you can put it in the description of your YouTube channel. Just Google Linktree. L-I-N-K-Tree.
Really? Well, see, I need to know stuff like that. And it's called
Linktree. 5 links, I think, for free.
Yeah.
So it's 5 links. Okay. That is so good to know.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for the tip.
You're welcome. Thank you for the book cover.
Yeah.
Nice. So, guys, we're coming up on an hour and a half. So it's probably a good time to close out. So, Nicole, any final words of encouragement for people out there that are starting their keto or carnivore journey or spin around like a top?
Yeah, just be patient. I don't know if we have any new people to this way of eating in here, but I know there's been people who slip and all that stuff. I just say do the best you can. And I would just reframe it and not call it a slip, because then that kind of puts you in the negative mindset, like I'm a failure or I failed, and you didn't fail, right? It's a journey, it's a process, and it's life. That's why I like to say it's life. If you have a piece of pizza and you feel like crap, it's life. So just be kind to yourself and just know that this is a journey. It's a lifestyle. There's no mess ups. There's no slips. You're not a failure. You're just living your life the best you can. So that's just my big message, because I've been seeing that a lot. Like I slip, I feel bad, I messed up and all that, and just reframe it. You didn't mess up. You didn't fail. You're just living life, and just go back to plan whatever that looks like for you the next day.
Yeah. And Keto Vorugonian, thank you very much for the super sticker. Becky, that's easier. Becky, thank you very much for the super sticker.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And Carrie.
Oh, wait, I have a super sticker thing. Hold on. Wait.
Oh,
nice.
I have no idea what that is, but it sounds cool.
That's a bit Super Mario, right?
Or
I like that one. Man, if I had one of those things, I'd just be sitting there my whole broadcast just pushing buttons. I know
buttons.
I would. I'd be like that little kid on the elevator that pushes every single button.
You just go down the soundboard, just
Yep, up 50 floors, stopping at every one. Yes, that would be me.
Well, what's your final message, Carrie? Before I interrupted you, I just had to appreciate Becky. I love Becky.
Well, yeah, of course. I love Carnivore too. I like to say the words just because I practiced enough that I can finally say
I
Carnivore.
butchered the heck out of her name for so long. I was like, I finally got it right, and now I know her name. It's so much easier.
Yeah. So I just like saying it. I just want to say, I really would like to echo what Nicole said about just, we need to give ourselves grace, not only ourselves, but to other people, but especially with when you're starting this way of eating, and maybe you decide that you can't go fully carnivore right away. Don't beat yourself up over that, and just gradually start taking things out and just be kind to yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you should just be like, oh, well, I messed up or whatever, and then you turn around and do the same thing over and over, but analyze why you did it and really think about it. But at the same time, don't be ugly to yourself. Just really reason through it, and then give yourself some grace, and always come to any of our lives or our channels, and one of us is usually on, and you can talk and just vent or whatever, and that always helps too. Like if somebody tempts you with something, or they tempt you and then you take a couple bites or just whatever, but being able to talk about it and having some support also is really helpful. I just want to encourage you and be good to yourself.
Dave's on every day, so visit Dave's channel. But yes, Mike, it is a Rodecaster Pro. They do have a new version. I don't know what the new version is. This is like 2 or 3 years old, but yeah. I have all of my microphone, my headphones, like everything feeding into the Rodecaster. It's great. But yeah, if you're looking for a sound machine and a recording thing, it does everything. Rodecaster Pro, I highly recommend.
Nice.
What about you, Dave?
So yeah, I mean, I just echo what you've both said. It's really, really important to just do your best, and yeah, the community is something that will really help. Whether it's jumping on a live stream, whether it's going to a local meetup, whatever it is, just I think that the thing that's helped me stick to this so well, I mean, once you get into it, it is easier than any other way of eating to kind of stick to, but the community is what's really helped me. And yeah, so jump on that live stream or go to that meetup, or do whatever you need to do to get involved with the community, because it'll really help.
Yeah, you can even hop on. Like, I'll be more than happy if you're not shy. You can always hop on any of my lives. I'll be more than happy to have anyone in the chat, anyone of the watchers on with a live, and just chat. So yeah, so I'm sure the same goes for Carrie and
yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's really important, and that we support each other. So and to that end, it's you're supporting us too by being here on the live stream, and so we really appreciate you coming in, and so thank you. And I hope you kind of got coming in through my ears, but it kind of called me on Facebook, so nothing coming through. I'm just trying to find my face. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, that's it. So yeah, sorry about that. It was getting in my ear.
We were hearing I would fit book. Let me find.
Okay.
Just like being at the drive-through window.
So would you like fries with that?
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, the community is really important, is basically what I was saying. So get involved however you can. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. You're supporting us by being here and chatting and asking questions and interacting with us. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.